Across the endless steep hills of America, one of the most dangerous harvest seasons in the world is about to begin. As the first sunlight pours across the golden slopes, massive harvesting machines weighing dozens of tons charge into the sea of wheat like steel monsters battling against nature itself. From above, the entire landscape moves like a rolling ocean of gold, breathtakingly beautiful, yet so dangerous that anyone watching can't help but feel nervous. What makes it even more incredible is that these machines must operate on hillsides so steep that many people would struggle just to stand upright. One wrong turn or a sudden patch of soft ground, and the entire machine could slide down the slope in seconds. And today, we're stepping into the world of some of America's bravest farmers, where harvest season is more than just work. It's a real battle against the raw power of nature. From a distance, America's hillside wheat fields look so unreal that many people assume they must be created with Hollywood special effects. Endless golden hills roll across the landscape like gigantic frozen waves in the middle of summer. Whenever the wind sweeps through, the entire field moves at once, making the ground itself seem alive. But the more beautiful this place appears, the more dangerous it truly is. Beneath those thick waves of wheat are terrifyingly steep slopes where even a wheel slipping just a few inches can send a machine worth hundreds of thousands of dollars sliding downhill. Some areas are tilted at angles greater than 40 degrees, steep enough that most people would struggle just to stay standing. Yet the massive harvesters still have to climb up and descend these hills non-stop with every pass they make. That's exactly why many American farmers call this place the fields with no room for mistakes. One single moment of carelessness could put the entire harvest, the expensive machinery, and even the operator's life in danger. The scariest part isn't the size of these harvesting machines, it's the brutal terrain they have to face every single day. In many parts of America, the hills can reach slopes of 30 to 40 degrees, so steep that when you look up from the bottom, it feels like the combine could flip over at any moment. And the truth is, that can absolutely happen. If the driver turns just a second too late, if a wheel hits soft ground, or if the machine loses balance while moving across the hillside, the entire multi-ton harvester can slide downhill within seconds. Some machines have even become trapped halfway down a slope for hours because normal recovery equipment couldn't pull them back up. And when that happens, the damage isn't just financial, the operator's life can be in serious danger too. That's why every harvest season here feels like a gamble against nature itself. And if you also think these scenes look almost unbelievable, comment number 1 below the video right now. But what amazes people even more than the technology of these machines are the men and women who operate them every single day. On those dangerously steep hillsides, the drivers must stay intensely focused for hours without losing concentration. They're not simply sitting inside a cab turning a steering wheel. Every unusual vibration from the tires, every strange sound from the engine, and every subtle change in the ground beneath them has to be noticed instantly. A reaction delayed by just a few seconds could cause the massive machine to lose balance while crossing the slope. Many American farmers say driving these harvesters feels like controlling a giant truck along the edge of a cliff. At times, the drop beside them is so steep that they avoid even looking down. Inside the cab, the roar of the engine mixes non-stop with the sound of wheat crashing against the cutting blades, creating enormous pressure on the operator. But no matter how stressful it becomes, they still have to maintain perfectly precise cutting lines, because even the smallest mistake could put the entire harvest at risk. And the greatest pressure begins the moment the weather changes. In America's steep hillside fields, farmers are constantly racing against time to finish the harvest before conditions turn dangerous. All it takes is one sudden heavy rainstorm, and the entire hillside can become a slippery layer of mud that makes it impossible for the machines to operate. If strong winds hit at the exact moment the wheat is fully ripe, millions of grains can be blown to the ground within hours. And perhaps the biggest danger of all comes from the machines themselves. With engines running non-stop on steep slopes under extreme heat, the risk of mechanical failure or even fire is always dangerously high. That's why many harvesting crews work from early morning until late at night. As the sun disappears behind the rolling hills, the bright lights of the massive combines begin glowing across the fields like giant steel trains moving through an ocean of gold. The scene is both breathtaking and unbelievably intense. And if you think this job is tougher than most professions out there, comment number 1 and stay with us as we continue this dangerous harvest journey. And the real pressure begins the moment the weather starts to change. On America's steep hillside farms, farmers are racing against the clock every single day, trying to finish the harvest before conditions suddenly turn against them. One unexpected rainstorm can transform the entire hillside into a slippery wall of mud, making it nearly impossible for the machines to operate safely. If strong winds arrive just as the wheat reaches peak ripeness, millions of grains can be lost to the ground in a matter of hours. And perhaps the greatest danger comes from the machines themselves. Engines running non-stop on steep slopes under intense heat create an extremely high risk of overheating or even fire. That's why many harvesting crews work from sunrise until deep into the night. As the sun sinks behind the rolling hills, the powerful lights from the giant combines begin glowing across the fields like massive steel trains moving through an endless ocean of gold. It's a scene that feels both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. And if you think this kind of work is harder than most jobs out there, comment number 1 below and stay with us for the rest of this dangerous harvest journey. But what overwhelms people the most is the absolutely massive scale of these harvest operations. From a drone high above, you can see dozens of giant combine harvesters moving across the golden hills at the same time, like a steel army sweeping across an entire mountainside. Each machine is capable of harvesting dozens of tons of wheat in just a single hour. Behind them, endless grain trucks move non-stop between the hills and enormous storage facilities below. The roar of engines echoes through the valleys, while clouds of wheat dust fill the air, creating a scene that feels both chaotic and cinematic, almost like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. What's even more incredible is that this entire process has to run with extreme precision. The combines can't afford long stops, because even a small delay could allow bad weather to move in and destroy the entire harvest schedule. And the longer people watch these scenes unfold, the harder it becomes to believe this is just ordinary farming. It feels more like a gigantic mechanized operation taking place across some of the most dangerous hillsides in America. But what makes harvest season on these hills even more stressful is the weather itself. Unlike flat farmland where harvesting can continue for weeks, the window for harvesting on America's steep hillsides is often incredibly short. And every small change in nature has the power to turn the entire operation into a disaster. One sudden burst of strong wind can knock ripe wheat grains to the ground before the combines even reach them. If heavy rain arrives, the hillsides quickly become dangerously slippery, forcing dozens of massive machines to stop working immediately. Even worse, during extreme heat, the harvester engines must run non-stop under heavy strain on steep terrain, making overheating or even engine fires a constant threat. That's why American farmers are always racing against time. From sunrise until late at night, harvesting crews can barely afford a single delay. Because missing just a few good weather days could allow nature to wipe out an entire multi-million-dollar harvest right before their eyes. Yet behind these breathtaking displays of massive machinery lies a level of danger that only people in the industry truly understand. On these steep hillside farms, accidents can happen at any moment without the slightest warning. Sometimes the ground appears completely solid, but the instant a multi-ton combine rolls across it, the softer soil underneath suddenly collapses, causing the wheels to sink deep into the hillside. Some machines have tilted so severely that entire recovery teams needed multiple heavy-duty vehicles just to pull them back to safety. And perhaps even more terrifying is the constant threat of fire. Dry wheat dust combined with extremely high engine temperatures can create sparks within seconds. What's most remarkable is that despite fully understanding these risks, American farmers still return to the harvest every single year as if it were a mission that simply cannot stop. Because delaying the harvest by only a few days could allow bad weather to destroy months of hard work completely. And that's exactly what makes harvest season on America's steep hillsides one of the most extreme agricultural spectacles anywhere in the world. As the sun slowly disappears behind the massive rolling hills, many people assume the harvest work finally comes to an end. But no, that's actually when the fields become even more intense. Dozens of giant combines continue moving through the darkness, with their powerful headlights blazing, cutting through clouds of golden dust as night slowly covers the hillsides. From above, the scene looks like a massive steel convoy crawling across endless waves of gold. The roar of engines echoes through the valley while bright white lights sweep across the ground, creating a view that feels both breathtaking and overwhelming at the same time. And during those final hours of the day, the pressure becomes even greater. Operators must focus on every single foot of ground ahead of them, because one small mistake in the darkness could lead to disaster instantly. Yet no matter how dangerous it becomes, they keep moving forward to finish the harvest on time. And if you also think these farmers are incredibly brave and deserving of respect, comment number 1 below to show your support for them. And after countless hours of non-stop work, the results finally begin to appear right before their eyes. The massive grain tanks on the combines slowly fill with golden wheat, while long lines of trucks leave the hillsides one after another, carrying the harvest toward giant storage facilities. Every truckload doesn't just transport tons of wheat, it carries the reward for months of hard work under brutal weather and dangerous terrain. What's truly remarkable is that even in such a high-pressure environment, every step of the operation must work together almost perfectly. The combines have to maintain precise spacing, the trucks must arrive at exactly the right moment, and the technical crews remain on standby at all times to handle unexpected breakdowns. If even one part of the system slows down, the entire harvest operation can come to a halt. From a distance, the whole field begins to look like a gigantic industrial machine operating in the middle of wild nature. And that's why many people consider this one of the most impressive examples of modern agriculture in America, a place where technology, mechanical power, and human determination work together as one. But behind these massive harvest seasons lies an incredibly advanced agricultural system that very few people ever get the chance to see. Long before the giant combines appear on the hillsides, American farmers spend months planning every detail, from selecting wheat varieties that can survive steep terrain to managing soil moisture levels and predicting the perfect moment for harvest. Agricultural engineers constantly monitor weather conditions, test soil quality, and use satellite data to measure the productivity of every section of the field. Even the driving paths of the combines are carefully planned in advance to reduce the risk of sliding and minimize fuel consumption. It proves that the success of these harvests doesn't rely only on enormous machines, but also on knowledge, experience, and the precise coordination between people and modern technology. And perhaps that is what makes American agriculture so remarkable. They don't just grow wheat on dangerous hillsides, they transform land that once seemed impossible to farm into massive, highly productive fields that leave the rest of the world amazed. As the final rays of sunlight disappear behind the rolling hills, the harvest season enters its last remaining hours. The giant combines continue moving slowly through the endless sea of golden wheat, their headlights sweeping across the ground and creating a scene that feels both peaceful and unbelievably majestic. After days of non-stop work, the massive fields are finally harvested. Truck after truck loaded with grain leaves the hillsides, carrying the results of months of exhausting labor, pressure, and constant danger. But the most unforgettable part isn't just the enormous amount of wheat collected, it's the people behind it all. Day after day, they conquer some of the most dangerous terrain with courage, skill, and modern technology. On hillsides that once seemed impossible to farm, they continue producing harvests that amaze the entire world. And perhaps that is the true beauty of modern American agriculture, a world where people refuse to surrender to nature, but instead learn how to adapt, survive, and overcome it through determination and resilience. And when the final combine finally leaves the hillside, the entire field slowly falls back into silence after days of shaking beneath the roar of massive engines. The golden slopes are now covered only with perfectly straight harvesting lines stretching all the way to the horizon, like the marks left behind after a long and exhausting battle. But for American farmers, this is far more than just another harvest season. It's the result of months spent battling brutal weather, dangerous terrain, and overwhelming pressure that few people could truly imagine. From advanced self-leveling machines to the incredible skill of the operators controlling them, everything comes together to create one of the most impressive agricultural scenes anywhere in the world. And perhaps the most remarkable part of all is humanity's determination to keep farming land that once seemed impossible to cultivate. That's exactly what makes harvest season on America's steep hillsides so unforgettable to witness. And if you also admire these hard-working farmers, Comment number 1 below the video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can continue exploring some of the most modern and incredible agricultural systems in the world.